Hey, so I thought this might be quite good to make another video on this software. Please note before you watch this software itself is not going to be good as Ahrefs, Semrush, or something else, but it still does have good functions in regards to different things. Be aware as well, if you are interested in buying it, it does only 4 countries at the moment: UK, USA, Canada, and Australia. This is basically how it works. So if we just type in, for example, let's just pick car. It basically gives us a rough idea of how many people are going to type that in the USA. According to them, it's 360,000 per month. The cost for that is $4.75. You can download it as a PDF if you want to. You can also see differences between Google versus Bing or Yahoo if you want to. You can also see your pay-per-click competitors. They will appear quite often in this. So we can see our serial competitors make sense here. Obviously, car.org, cars.com, Car Gurus, True Car, Wikipedia, Carvana, and Wikipedia again. So that gives us some basic information that might be useful for us if we were going to have an automotive based site. We can also, as well, if we want to, find some relatable keywords or related, whatever you call it. So, I'm sorry. So we might decide for some reason it might be worthwhile us trying to go for car marks. Well, it's still be a competitive keyword. We might decide it's worth going for things like car guru, Carfax, car for sale, used car, car park, car max, cars for sale near me, car max near me, and so on. So you can see a decent amount of keyword and keyword data on a thing. You can also export depending on what to do it. If you only want 25, you can pick 25, 50, 100, and you can go down to 2 pages if you prefer. So you can get quite a lot of data on this. I'm just going to go through all the different countries just so you can see the differences between it as a whole. So let's go UK now, and then do search again. It will sometimes include the whole countries that believes in the same thing. Obviously, UK should be less than America, so that would be wrong. This one says we've only got, according to them, for UK, we've only got Car Magazine, according to them. We've got Wikipedia, 2 different forums. We've got AutoTrader, we've got cargiant.co.uk. So it does showing different ones. This is what carworld.co.uk. It gives us an idea for ranking for that keyword, which is quite cool. We can also see as well SEO keyword count. We can see their keyword count. Obviously, Wikipedia will be more because obviously there's more content on it. So we get an idea of potentially things we could be doing in regards to it. We can't see any ads. You sometimes won't see ads. So you could kind of compare this as like a limited version of like Spyfu is the best way I could explain it. Obviously not as good as Spyfu. If you were going to do pay-per-click, then Spyfu would be better. But it does have, advantages for it. For example, if I was going to, for example, purchase, if I had a car from where you did in, say, Texas, it might be worth me trying to rank for cars for sale in Texas, which I doubt would be that hard, even though it is Texas, or cars for sale in California. So you can get things like that, or Nelson car, country used car. I don't know what Nelson means in here, so but you could maybe have that one as like example. So you can see differences between it for each country, which is quite cool. Some of them won't appear, by the way, for sort of less common keywords, so that might put you off. But you can see again, CarMax, Advanced Auto Parts, Carflax, Cars for Sale, Used Car, Car Park, CarMax, and you get the average search volume, the cost per click. So you can use it in some cases. One of the things I would say it is quite good at. If, for example, purposes you were doing an AdSense site, you could in theory use this to give you a sort of a guideline of what you could potentially get paid. If you were going to do instead, say AdWords, you might be thinking, so what do I have to spend this client? I have to spend 2,000, this about 1,000. You could use it to potentially give you a better idea. So that's something you can do. It is actually quite good at that when I was doing pay-per-click more in the past. I'm going to do some pay-per-click in the future, but it does work quite well. So you can see for that one, it's showing none. So you will find this fine for some who won't appear. There obviously will be, of course, ones for Canada. It's just not got the data here, to be fair to them. But you can see sort of similar ideas, similar keywords. So we could potentially use that to give us an idea of Canada. And let's go with Australia now to get the idea. You can see again it's the same volume, so I think it's just doing it for the whole world, or trying to do it for the whole world. You can also see sometimes you want one of the things you might find kind of cool here. If you're going to be using Bing and Yahoo, I have found the whole Bing and Yahoo will generally appear a lot more, so that's something you might find quite cool. Bing and Yahoo for some reason seems to appear the most in general. So we get an idea of the site. carsales.com.au, drive.com.au, carcity.com.au, and we can see all the Good Day Mate style sites here, giving us an idea for keywords or counts. Because another thing is what you could potentially do this if just example purposes and everything you do. I mean, for example, if I was for some reason going to try and compete in Australia for my car site, I could in theory, email these seven firms like, hey, I run an automotive site. I just want you to link to my site, and they might say, hey, I'll do it for a few thousand, or how much you want to charge. Work a link to them. So that's something you can do as well, as like another idea of what you might find valuable in regards to sort of stuff. It does work pretty good. I have to admit, it's not too bad. It's not the best in the world. I'm just going to try and find one which I don't believe it will appear here. The reason why I'm picking one I don't think will appear here, this is just to show you it's not always going to work. I'm just going to pick this one and hopefully it won't appear here. That's interesting. It actually did. I see. Yeah, to be, I wouldn't normally 100% agree with something, but for Australia, I don't think we that many people type in a secret mana. So that actual, to be fair, that actual amount could be correct. That actually could be true. So that actually is quite cool. That is actually probably quite accurate. Just check USA out. It should be higher. Just see if we can get a bit of difference here. But you can, in some cases, find sort of different things that. And I know it's going to probably be more than that. Obviously, it'll be obviously a lot more for USA's population, probably a few thousand or so. But that's just an example showing you what you can do. I'm going to do a couple more just to get the idea a bit more. So I'm just going to pick something which shouldn't appear. Just go Final Fantasy, and that should appear. Since that's quite a popular keyword, it should have some data from that, I suspect. So according to that, it's got approximately 90,500 people are going to type in a month, and that gives us a CPU of, according to them, $77. It could be higher, but whatever. And that's just showing you what exactly you can do with it. It can give you ideas of traffic, so you could use it as like a sort of a semi good way to gauge your traffic. And that's, I think, quite good. Relatable keywords. Mog Station makes sense. Square Inch is correct. Final Fantasy 16 release date. It gives us ideas. Final Fantasy 15. So you can see it is giving us newer keywords. So for example purposes, I have a video game site. I could then use this one and then potentially target. I'm not going to target at the moment, but that's just showing you what you can do with it. So it does work pretty good. To be fair, I would credit them to in that way. I'm also going to show you the other things so you can see the other parts you can do with this thing. And by the way, as well, the landing page gallery part, that part was actually introduced quite. It was introduced a couple of years ago, so you might get some use out of that if you want to make landing pages. So I do have to admit that's quite cool. So I could create a STEM campaign if I want to be more into the local and national. I can create a SEO watch tracked by rankings, my keywords, page graph, that kinds of stuff. I might decide I want to. My competitors are Amazon, Cars, Walmart, and so on. So I could do something like that. That's what you can do with it. My account feature a wee bit limited since I got an LTD, but it's a really good software for $49 it was when I bought it. Why should we carry your SEO? Track your benefits. I don't really directly use this part here. Yeah, I'd have to upgrade, but I could upgrade it and that'll give you an idea. But so that's what you can really do with it. I got the free features which are good enough for me, but if you needed the extra features, you could get it quite easy. But that's just showing you examples. I mean, for example, I could copy that if I didn't know how to do a landing page. I could copy for internet things. I might decide, this is a good site. If I was doing something broadband themes, I could copy his images. Let's get started. So I could download a browser, that kind of stuff. So you can use it to sort of give you inspiration, which I think is quite cool. Because I have to admit, in the past, I actually did use these things to give me a bit of inspiration to, do sites. So you can use, the sorry, the landing page part to give you a bit of inspiration if you need it to, design different parts of your site. So that bit I have to admit is quite cool. And that's basically what you can do with it. You can do sort of local SEO stuff, but you can do national. You can do international, but of course you can only do 4 countries at the moment. They did tell me before that they were going to upgrade it to other countries. They never done that. They did tell me a couple of years ago that we were going to include different countries. India, I guess they didn't have a budget or didn't have time for whatever reason. But I don't think it's a completely dead useless software. It's obviously not as good as Semrush. It's not as good as Ahrefs or Spyfu or Sherpstat. But as a software, if you have extra money or just want to buy it for some reason, it is pretty good. I don't really have any complaints about it. It's not really anything I think this is really bad. This is rubbish. I'm disappointed. It's a good add-on feature. If you want to buy it or you want to use the features, it's good enough. You couldn't obviously do everything because its data is a bit small, but you can still use it to do keyword research. It's not horrible by any means. I have definitely seen a lot of software which is a lot worse, but that's basically how iSponge works as a whole. And if you want to, if you want to, you could probably convince iSponge if you want to. I know TapQuicks is actually quite a big company. I remember reading into them a bit before. So you could potentially ask them you want, say, hey, will you give me a week trial or a month if you want to, and then you can see what it's like. I've never really used the tutorials because I knew quite quickly how to work it. But if you needed tutorials and can go for it, use it, it might help you. And that's basically the software covered. I mean, it's good for small to medium keyword research. If your target is for countries, it's perfectly acceptable. It's not the best software in the world by any means, but it's still a really good add-on feature. I mean, I would go as far as saying this is probably if I was going to say the best LTD software I've ever bought, I would go with Straightbox as my favorite. Straightbox is my favorite, or any GSA software. Then I would put this software in my third. I would put it in my third by quite a large amount because it's just really good what you can do with it. I've got no complaints. I've only chatted to the support a couple of times. I just really said it's fancy, really great software. I never had any issues because I never had any issues I can report, but I'm sure the customer service would be pretty good. When I did chat to them before, they were very kind, very nice. Couldn't fault them. So, you want to use it, then hey ho, this is for you.